I rolled into Maple Ridge one Tuesday, just as the sun was dragging itself up over the rooftops, and right away I knew something was off. You ever see a neighborhood get too quiet? Like, suspiciously quiet? Lawns cut so short they look like skin, blinds shut, not a single mailbox flag up, and on my fence, a zip-tied notice curling around the pickets like it owned the place. That's how the day started, and I should have known right then it was going to spiral. The notice looked official, all caps and legal jargon, talking about water conservation, violation fines, immediate enforcement, the works. That's not how this town used to be, not by a long shot. Used to be potlucks and missing dog flyers, neighbors trading zucchini, the kind of place where you know the pies from Mrs. Henson because she always overdoes the cinnamon. But ever since Oak Hollow Homeowners Association put Martha Lang in charge, all that got replaced with rules, loudly read. Rules, binder thick and weaponized. Martha's the sort who can smile and insult you in the same breath. She's got the highest lot in town, with her fancy little fountain sparkling like a middle finger. I tried to stay out of the mess. I like my coffee black and my mornings quiet. I like my grass to die when it wants to and my porch to be mine. But when the taps started coughing air instead of water, it wasn't dramatic, just a slow, creeping squeeze. A thin shower in the morning, dry by noon, and a blizzard of HOA emails dropping like hailstones. My neighbor June caught me getting out of my truck, panic in her voice. Eli, they shut us off. Martha says it's conservation, but you saw what she did to the creek last year. You know that look people get when they realize they're not alone in being screwed? That's the look June had. That's when I remembered my grandfather's stories. How the well on our land was there before the developers ever drew their first line. Old water rights. Scrawled into some county registry nobody looked at since the Carter administration. I'd ignored it for years, but desperate times, right? I hauled the cap off the old well behind my shed, half expecting spiders, maybe a dry cough. But no, the pump sputtered to life and clear water came up. It felt like a miracle. Neighbors started showing up. Word spread faster than a grass fire. Coffee tasted better that night, sitting on the porch with 3 jugs of water between us, feeling like outlaws in our own town. Didn't take long for Martha to ramp things up. Notices became fines. Fines became threats. Then came the emails, dense, lawyerly, full of bullet points and bad faith. She claimed she was protecting the community, but her volunteers showed up with clipboards, photographing hoses and counting buckets. God forbid you helped a neighbor out. That was practically criminal. Funny thing, how fast kindness can become a violation when someone with a little power decides so. The first real shot fired was when I got a notice for unauthorized distribution. All I'd done was fill a jug for old Mr. Pendleton down the road. That red-stamped paper made me mad. But it also made me laugh. A special kind of laugh you get when bureaucracy crosses over into the ridiculous. My buddy Rafe, loud laugh, big heart, got smart. Document everything, he said, so we did. Pictures, timestamps, every stupid notice. We became historians of a small-town war. Meanwhile, Martha's community amenity fountain kept gurgling, even as everyone else's hoses ran dry. She'd post sunrise photos of it, captioned community benefit, while the rest of us rationed water like we were on the Oregon Trail. Some nights, I'd spot a hose snaking through her hedges, drawing from a hidden source. Rules for us, exceptions for her. That's where suspicion grows, right? In the gap between the letter of the law and who's holding the pen. It got ugly fast. Lights flashed across yards at night. Someone cut my hose. Then another night my well's wiring got yanked out. Deliberate, obvious sabotage. Called the sheriff. He shrugged, said he'd watch. Yeah, right. Martha showed up one morning with 2 board members, both practicing their stern faces, talking about precedent and community safety. She handed me a pamphlet, which felt like a threat, wrapped in cheap paper. That week was hell. June's daughter lost her job and spent afternoons lugging water. Carlos, who runs the diner, left jugs out for folks, risking a fine each time. One night, we held a porch meeting, lanterns, folding chairs, more coffee than sense. And in that awkward circle, we all decided, quietly, stubbornly, to fight back. Not with pitchforks, but with paper trails and patience. Here's the twist. While digging through dusty old county plats, Rafe found gold. A handwritten 1978 note, clear as daylight. Well, rights grandfathered. HOA can't override. We made copies. Handed them out like treasure maps. Martha doubled down, calling an emergency meeting, arguing that our wells were a public health risk. She painted us as reckless, setting a dangerous precedent. Her performance was so smooth you'd think she was auditioning for something. But by then, the momentum was on our side. We called the county for an inspection. Walter Perry, stoic guy, carved from oak, walked the properties, checked every pump, and wrote his report. Our wells predated the development, usage legal, HOA not to interfere. That report didn't sound like victory. It just said, observe the rules. But sometimes, that's enough. Martha's next move? Lawyer up, stack the fines higher, send letters thick with threat. One night, someone left a handwritten warning on my porch. Cease or face consequences. The temperature spiked. Rafe caught a stranger yelling threats near my lot. At a community meeting, tempers flared. Someone flashed a gun. Nobody shot. But suddenly you could feel the thin line between argument and violence snap taut. We decided enough was enough. Collected testimony, made a public record, rallied neighbors who'd never spoken up before. When the county hearing came, Oak Hollow filled with faces, nervous, determined, fed up. Martha had her binder, we had our stories. June told about her son driving 2 towns over for water. Rafe showed the old registry. Walter read his findings. I told the truth, not fancy, just straight. Sometimes that's all you need. The county didn't smash Oak Hollow. They suspended the HOAs. Enforcement power, froze the fines, and brought in a third party. Not fireworks, not a parade, but a small, stubborn win. Martha called it a betrayal of standards. She rallied, wrote op-eds, fought on. But the lights went back on, the water flowed, and neighbors started talking again about gardens, dogs, actual life. We set up a fund for well repairs, wrote new safety rules, helped each other fix pumps. In the end, the power games didn't disappear, they just shifted. Martha lost her seat, moved away, but the town was different. Old grudges lingered. Some fences stayed. Up, some fell. We learned you can't fix everything, but you can redraw the map. One night, sitting on my porch, I watched that fountain glinting in the dark, listened to voices and laughter on the street. Things felt normal, but not the old normal, a new one, shaped by everything we'd lived through. The plaque by our well says, in defense of neighborliness. And someone scratched, and really good coffee underneath. So that's my story. Maybe you've lived your own version of it. Maybe you're fighting your own HOA, or you're Martha in this story, thinking you're the good guy. Either way, drop a comment. What's worse, power abused in secret or out in the open? Where do you draw your line between order and overreach? And if you've got your own stories about neighborliness, small rebellions, or the paperwork that nearly broke you, share them below. That's how real community starts, one story at a time.